Hey there, my name is John, and welcome to the episode 25 special of Beholding Out for a Hero, where the sidetrack is the main track. While we usually play D&D, today we're going to be answering some questions, going over some session questions that didn't quite make it into episodes, and just generally having a chat. Thank you for your continued listening, and if this is your first episode, you picked a weird one. Three, two, one, clap.
Ooh, nice.
Very clean, very crisp.
The fact that I didn't hear a single clap might be a good sign. It might be a bad one.
Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to not another episode of Holding Out for a Hero, but a special, a little 25 episode special where we
Treat.
don't play, a little treat. We don't play D&D this time, but we talk about playing D&D. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today.
Have you ever been like, man, they do too much stuff on this show, Beholding Out for a Hero. What if they just got sidetracked the whole time? This is for you.
Alrighty, so we had come up with a bunch of questions that we are going to ask both the players and the DM. In no particular order, so here we go.
We should introduce ourselves again
Yes.
first.
We don't have a format, so forgive us.
If this is your first time listening, none of this will make sense. Go back to episode 1, please.
If this is your
A
first
great
time
point.
listening, I would like to apologize.
If this is not your first time listening, you'll get to know us all. Anyways, that was not a sentence. Let's
Yeah,
try again.
Clean. That was good.
Get a
I
clean
am
take, get a
Nico.
clean take.
I'm Nico, the DM for this campaign, and we're moving on.
Hi, I'm John. I play Patches.
Hey, John. Oh, I was trying to go for like a AAA thing. Not a AAA, a AA thing, but then nobody else said hi, John. I'm
Oh,
late, I play
see.
Kitty with an IE.
Oh my god, we're a
Island.
disaster. Hi, I'm Raina. I play Jam.
How is it harder when we're not playing D&D?
Well, because like normally we have like, okay, here's a session question, and we didn't do any of that.
Yeah, normally I have a script and stuff, and now I'm just like sitting here making bone jewelry.
I was gonna paint my nails, but then I was like, no, that's disrespectful. Like, I should be paying attention.
$5 says Nico's playing Red Dead.
You know, I
Let me
was
check
trying to
Steam
do
really
that while
quick.
editing earlier, and it was disastrous because I was too invested in Red Deading and I wasn't listening to the audio that I was editing, so I had to quit.
Oh boy.
All right. So we have a list of questions. Should we go through them?
We sure do, and we sure can. Question number 1. What do you think the lady in the Beholder's mask is up to?
I have been, every time we meet a new lady, I'm like, does she sound familiar? Because I really want it to be her. Because I really want her to be back. But
Yeah,
it's never her.
She was weird. She was kind of creepy, and like, but she took someone with her, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm like, that's a really weird thing to do if you're just there to like loot the place. So I feel like she might even be connected to like our current arc with like all the slaving and human trafficking and stuff like that. So like, I'm almost like
More like
I just
inhuman trafficking.
yeah, half human. But yeah, so I don't know. I just feel like she's definitely connected to something bigger. But I hope we run into her again. She was a freak.
Clearly she was targeting whoever she grabbed, because it was mostly just that person and random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea who she took, so I don't think that we can really
yeah.
Yeah, we
figure
didn't
that out.
care, and that was a problem.
Yeah.
I personally think it has to do with the Sharon Watch Well, that we never discovered what that was all about.
Mm-hmm.
because they had mentioned something about human experiments or something like that, right?
Yeah, continue
did.
the experiments in the Sharn Watchwell, which we still don't know what that even is yet either. Like, we've had a few ideas, but we've never really, like, been able to figure it out.
Let's see if we go back to Sharn.
We have
Yeah.
to.
We also asked on reddit.com for some people to submit questions for this. And this one is from Caffeinated Sloth, and it's, what is your favorite part of D&D? And I'll go first. I think that that's an extremely broad question. So to get more specific, I think that my favorite part of D&D is the collective storytelling part of it, where we're all almost, with the exception of the DM, we're all like equally putting ourselves and our ideas into the world that we're making. And I love that. You know, that ties into role-playing and stuff. But also, my D&D sin is that I love combat, and not everyone does, and I get that. But I love smacking stuff.
That's another good follow-up question too, is what is your D&D sin? My favorite part of D&D is kind of the same as John's. I love telling stories. I love discovering stories, and like especially character-driven stories. And it just like, I don't know, there's like something about it. I think it's like, especially if you play with unhinged people like we do, it's like akin to playing pretend on the playground when you were a kid, which was like my favorite thing to do. And so I don't know, it just like, it scratches an itch that I think like as I grew up I missed a lot and didn't really know it. And so it just, I don't know, it warms my heart. My D&D sin, I'm self-centered. It's also my real life sin. And I hate combat.
I agree. Obviously, I mean, that's how all of us play, right? Like, we all love the role play. We all love interacting with each other. I love character creation and character growth in just about everything. So being able to do that in D&D and see everybody go through that is mwah. My character sin, coming from a world of video gaming, am a min-maxer at heart. So I try very heavily not to do that. Or I have to try very heavily not to do that whenever we play. I have to be like, no, I'm rolling random stats because I'm going to try to min-max this too much if I don't.
I feel that so much. That ties into my love of combat, is like, I want to make a character who's really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably a stupid question, but I'm still very new to this, to everything about this. What is min-maxing? I've never been able to figure it out. I'm too scared to ask.
It's just like optimizing.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
because I'm an artificer, I need my best stat to be here and my worst stat to be here just to make sure I do the best I can and wherever I need to do the best at.
It's like getting the most return out of the least input.
Got
Is sort
it.
of where the term comes from. But
Got
generally
it,
it's just
okay.
making a character that's optimized to do something really well.
Okay, please edit that out. I don't want to seem like a fool on the internet.
It's
We
fine.
already do that every week.
You edit that out, I'm going to be so mad.
I asked nicely.
Yeah.
Please. I'm just a noob.
It's fine. We're all still learning D&D rules. I'm still learning D&D rules from John every other session.
Yes, all hail John, the rules lawyer. Thank you so much for keeping us on track.
John, the walking encyclopedia.
It's what I'm good at.
Yeah, I think, unsurprisingly, my favorite part of D&D is also just like good character interactions, be it between PCs or
Solid
characters and
roleplay.
NPCs, and yeah, so very similar to everyone else, unsurprisingly. My D&D sin probably has to be that I'm bad at voices.
I don't think that that's a sin. I think most people who play D&D don't do, character voices and stuff.
And I refuse to try. That's the real sin there.
You know what? You at least you put the emotional emphasis on it.
Yeah, I
which for
commit
me
to
is
the
good
acting.
enough.
I do not commit to the voices.
They still
which
feel
is
like
fair.
distinct characters, even if they don't have distinct voices, Like, we
I'm
can
glad.
tell when it's Izzy immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John's the only one who's actually good at voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
I
true,
have-
yeah.
I have my emphasized Southern twang, and that's about it.
Alrighty. Next question.
Yeah, hit us with the next question.
Yeah, this one coming in from Patches Lover 420.
Oh my god.
Who are some of your favorite D&D players?
Like
Actual play?
I don't know. That's what the question says.
I don't know if you've heard of them, but John, Nico, and Reina are my top 3.
Oh!
Aw. My answer is
No.
way less flattering.
Yeah.
Same.
It's mostly just 'cause, out of our group, when you're talking about quote-unquote professionals, the only ones I kind of follow are Critical Role.
Yeah,
but I feel like
they
that's
count?
such a...
Same.
Who's your
Case
favorite
in
Critical
answer.
Role member?
Oof.
Mine is gonna have to be Travis.
I get that, yeah.
I think Travis is such a good balanced player. He's really able to balance proficiency in combat and proficiency in character. And
Mhm.
all of them are naturally, but I don't know. I feel like Travis shines in it a bit more. Plus he loves being silly goofy and not just serious all the time, which I always appreciate.
Mhm.
Here's something I would add to that, actually, is I think Travis is always kind of two things. One, he's always just so fine with whatever happens to his character.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
two, he is always willing to take a back seat, and let other people do stuff and have their characters go through things. And he's always invested in that.
Mhm.
And I think that that's really important, especially for an actual play creator.
Mhm.
But just as a player, I think that that's such a good trait to have, is to be so excited about your friends doing things and not having to jump in.
Yeah, definitely.
I was gonna say same. I think for players, as an actual player, Travis and Ashley in that group have the best reactions just watching them watch their friends play.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Ashley's reactions slay me. I'm just the faces she makes are just hysterical.
I'll go next. Mine is... I'm not as much of a Critical Role fan. I'm a Dimension 20 fan. Arguably worse. And my absolute favorite D&D player of all time is Lou Wilson.
Yeah, that's the right
That
answer.
man shows up every season. I already loved him from Fantasy High Season 2, but the thing that sold me on Lou Wilson as being the best role player, in my opinion, in the world, is A Crown of Candy Season 1. The amount of emotional depth and commitment and still levity and humor he brought to that campaign is just insane. It was amazing. I love Lou Wilson as a player. I also just love Lou Wilson as a person. So
He does just I just want to give him a hug, honestly. Every time I see him, I'm I'm just overcome with emotion. I just want to give you the biggest hug and tell you you deserve good things. And I'm not even that big of a Dimension 20 fan, so it's hilarious to me that I feel so strongly.
he just has an energy to him. He just knows he's cool, I saw a TikTok on how he rolls dice. He doesn't even look when he does it. He just kind of limply tosses it into whatever he's doing because he's the dice will react because they know I'm cool. They respect me.
Oh my gosh.
Wish that were me. Wish my dice respected me.
Every single D20 person has a specific way they roll dice, and it's so funny seeing people do an impression of it and being no, that's 100% right.
Dude, Sam just drops his die.
I can't.
He doesn't even like shake it in his hand. He just drops it.
I have seen that. I'm like, Sam, are you rolling them good, bud?
This is how he ends up with like the same numbers multiple times in a row.
Got to get a better trajectory. Nico,
Yeah.
who's your favorite?
When my first reaction to this was probably one of my own players in my other campaign, Susie, because, you know, she's just absolutely fucking feral, and it always throws me off. My DMing track in the best possible way.
She's like your Emily Axford.
I don't know who that is.
Brennan once described, she's one of the D20 people. He once described her as one of the best D&D players he's ever known, and was also sent from hell to kill him.
Yeah. That sums it up.
Would you like to give them context, Nico, as to the most recent escapade?
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
So the beginning of last session, actually no, it was in between sessions. She just sends out a message regarding one of my NPCs, who is a very serious character who threatened to kill them the first time they met, and goes strong with saying he's lost all of his authority, he's baby girl now. And then top of the last session we just recorded I was like, yeah, you know, I still can't with you know, you calling this NPC baby girl. It sends me into hysterics, and she's like, hold on, I need the checklist. And I was like, what? She's like, I need the baby girl checklist. She sends me the baby girl checklist photo. It looks like a one-page Microsoft Word photo, and then like walks us through the checklist as to why he's a baby girl, and like he checks every single one of those off, and I'm like, I guess he's a baby girl now.
That's amazing. I love that.
It's so good.
It was hysterical.
And that's why I was like, Susie needs to join us.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
She did say she was interested, so I'd
Yeah.
love to see how Susie... I mean, if she's this feral, I think that makes it gonna be a
and
good fit.
for context, the character that she plays is a frog. Not a frog humanoid, a frog. He is a 7-inch frog who, you know, it's a specific species, the one that produces hallucinogenic mucus. That's the frog that he is.
Of course. Have I told you guys about my frog warlock before?
No.
Oh.
He's a megalomaniacal frog. He's a grung. And he was a sailor, but then his ship got destroyed by the Kraken, but he thought he did it. And he became a warlock of the Kraken, thinking he's a sorcerer. And now he's convinced that he's going to rule the world and be extremely evil. And
Oh
he
my
disguises
God.
himself as a gnome. And his name is not Frog.
Nice.
KNOTTPHROGGE, not Frog.
Oh my god.
Of course.
I'm usually a DM. I can only play fucked up little guys. It's the law. So next question. Some of these we submitted ourselves. Of all the NPCs we've pissed off, who do you think is the least likely to turn out to be the big bad?
Yeah, I would like to hear your answers on this.
Oh boy.
I would love to say a Drazen, but I feel like that's such a good rug pull to make him
No,
super
it would
evil.
100% be a Drazen is the problem.
Izzy.
I think it might be Izzy.
I was gonna say, that one guy who works at the tiki bar.
No, so the thing is, he's so obsessed with the Undying Court, potentially, that he would want to, like, sacrifice people to, I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I guess you
Become
could swing it
undead.
either way.
I just think because Izzy is so upfront about her nefarious deeds, makes me think if she was the big bad, we'd know already. She would have bragged about it.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's very accurate. Mhm.
I also feel like Izzy is comfortable where she's at and has no higher aspirations.
Although, I guess it is worth asking where she gets her meat. Is she getting it from this slave trade?
You
she
never
says
asked.
it's like ethically sourced, right?
Yeah, what does she think is
she
ethical?
claims it's locally sourced.
Yeah, she never said
Locally sourced.
ethically.
That's somehow worse. At least she's not saying they're like grain fed.
Well, yeah, because but I guess that doesn't totally exonerate her, because don't the group that we're currently after right now, don't they like ship to Sharn?
Yeah.
I don't
Sure
think
do.
she'd be in charge of it, though. I think she might be,
she wouldn't
benefiting.
be the big bad. Maybe like a
small fry.
Yeah,
a small fry.
like the cleaner instead of the mastermind.
You
You gotta get rid of the meat somehow.
And I mean, it could be worse.
There's no crime if you eat the body.
Yeah.
Gandhi said that.
One of his many famous quotes.
And our next question, where are we? Our next question comes from Big Steve, and it is, what is the worst circumstance to see Train Waluigi again?
You skipped one, bud.
I can't read.
It's alright, we can do that one first.
We'll cycle back to it.
Sorry, could you
That's a
repeat
good
the
one.
question?
I skipped a good one. What's the worst circumstance to see Train Waluigi again?
I'm gonna say at Velvet's at the Tyrant's headquarters.
That
Like,
would be pretty bad.
yeah, him like walking out of a room and seeing all of us. I would simply scream.
Then he turns into Nyx.
I would leave the campaign immediately. It's the kill switch.
Patches has never met Train Waluigi, so I think it would be really funny if Train Waluigi was a member of the Wingless Crows. So we go meet up with the Wingless Crows and Train Waluigi is there.
Oh no!
I think it would be if we took up some mission for some rich person to do something like protect them or whatever, and it ended up being Train Waluigi.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty bad too.
Actually, I've got a better one. The worst circumstance to see Train Waluigi is in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like seeing the Babadook or something.
Exactly.
It's just like...
It's the boogeyman.
I think I asked this before, Nico, but I'm going to ask it again because it's been... I'm looking at all the dates on my notes. It's been a year since we've started recording, which is insane to me.
Oh.
Because,
Nice.
yeah, our session 1 was on June 3rd, 2022. That's when we recorded our first session.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which is insane because I totally thought we started in September. But
It does feel that way.
I think that's when we started publishing the posting the
maybe.
episodes.
Yeah.
We did also have a couple of recorded, not a one shot, but like a 4-shot or something, right?
Session 0,
Yeah, that's true.
My friends call that an espresso, because it's just a few shots.
Oh my... Anyway. Might have asked this already, but if Train
Shout out
Waluigi...
Moses. Sorry.
If Train Waluigi looked up and spun around in circles really, really fast, would he take off in flight?
Most certainly.
What I'm hearing is Patches can spin him hard enough to send him into orbit.
Yes.
Yes.
So next question comes from Sir Pantsalot, and it is, what was the inspiration for your character, or how did your character creation start out? Who wants to take this first?
I think Elaine should go first.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I think I've already mentioned this once before, but I don't know if it
Yeah.
made it into the recording.
Yeah, I don't remember if it did.
But basically, I was and still am very much a giant fan of the Borderlands series. And one of my friends was running a Roll for Shoes one-shot, and it was Borderlands themed. I ended up making Kitty at that time. Carly was an NPC that we adopted as a figurehead of the NPC, or of the one-shot. Nico played Batteries. like a very killing machine robot. And when we started coming up with beholding stuff, I was like, man, I really liked Kitty. And Kitty is so much what I am not.
A cannibal?
No, all the other things.
All the other, everything else about her.
Everything else. Yeah.
I have chewed on myself before, but that's a different story. But yeah, so basically Kitty was
Elaine tried to gnaw off her arm one time.
No, I was making a joke and there was a ramen flavored called Oriental. So I chewed on myself and I was like, I don't taste this. It doesn't taste like anything.
Oh my god.
That's a solid
That's
bit.
worse.
I like that. So my original idea for patches came from a different Eberron campaign, where the idea was vetoed because it was a little too silly. But I wanted to be like an actual, like, regular-sized teddy bear. I went and found that race later, and I was like, I should have just made Patches this. But I found a teddy bear race that I thought was really funny. So I wanted him to be a teddy bear, and then use the barbarian subclass, so when he raged, he would turn into a real bear.
That's good.
And my DM said, I don't think I could let you just be a teddy bear, because every conversation will start out with saying, are you a bear? I said, that's fair, yeah, that makes sense. And then from there, I just thought of the aesthetic of Patches. Like, I was able to bring this idea back, and I was like, I think it'd be really funny if he's like a grizzled mercenary, but his colors and magical theming and all that are really come from like a young girl's imagination. So he's trying to be taken seriously, and to a degree, I mean, he is taken pretty seriously. But if you ever see his face, he's a pink teddy bear.
I mean, I think what I love about Patches is that he does come across as some 4-year-old's, like, imaginary, you know, like, she's playing pretend, and it's like, yeah, this is our, you know, mercenary lead. Patches, like, it does sound like it came directly from a 4-year-old.
That is kind of the vibe I wanted it to give off, is like, I have 2 nieces myself, so just hearing how they think has really inspired me. I have 3 nieces, I lied.
I forgot about
2
one.
nieces I see regularly. I was thinking of them.
Last but not least, Reina.
So I'm still very new to D&D, and as it shows. And so Jem was my very, very first character ever, and when I played back in Elaine's campaign back in like 2020, and I'm just, you know, a big advocate of women's wrongs. And all of my female characters, whether written or played, kind of embody that vision. And with Jem specifically, originally she and Nyx had already been married and they were just divorced or like pending divorce, but I was like, no, it's funnier if she just like jilted them at the altar. And the compulsive lying part of it, I mean, I think it's just, to me, it's a very like interesting quirk. I think I saw it in a list of like character flaws, and I was like, yeah, that's the one that I want. So I think it was either that one or can't read.
The one that will cause the most trouble.
Definitely. And like, I love, you know, just straight facing, like, complete outright lies. So it's always, you know, that's why she's always posing as like a lawyer or a cop or something. It's just like, you would not trust this woman with any sort of service job, much less one in the interest of public safety. I'm gonna ask Nico to give us the inspiration for one NPC.
Oh, yes. What inspired a Drazen?
So Drazen was inspired by a character but then it had quickly become kind of his own thing because he was just so easy to pick on. So he just became just this loserly sad man, which is
A
completely
pathetic meow meow, for
Mhm.
sure.
a complete departure from the original character, which was not that. Let's anybody else who's got, because like I'm hesitant to say a little too much about inspiration lest it reveal plot.
Oh, fair.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah. Do you have any that are like completely out there, like not inspired by just
I guess I can talk about Perrin and Illidan because they're not coming back. I'm just gonna tell you that now. If they are coming back, it's gonna be in very small quantities. They were the two of them were my character and my sibling's character in our first D&D campaign, and were initially just self-inserts of we're learning how to play Dungeons and Dragons, and then with more time and more backstory had become the opposite twins anime trope
Mhm.
of one's the peppy do-gooder, and then the other one's the serious glasses character. Yeah, that's where they are right now.
Ooh, speaking of them, can I ask a question not on the sheet?
Sure.
What happened to the baby dragon?
They
Can't tell us, it's spoilers. It's coming back. Episode
They-
43.
to the best of their knowledge, had done what they had set out to do: find the dragon, either back home, led it back home, or to a similar environment where it could have a home. They didn't keep the dragon.
Oh. I actually have a question to add if it's that's not on her. I don't
Sure.
think it's on her sheet. I don't think I put it in. Again, I can't see it. But I guess my question for the cast is what is your character goal for this campaign? And it doesn't have to necessarily be related to their backstory, but just kind of what are you hoping to achieve with your character through the course of the campaign?
My goal with Patches is to make you cry.
Oh, that's guaranteed.
All of us?
Someone
Or
is
just...
gonna cry.
Okay.
Yes, all of
I
you.
don't know. That's gonna be tough. I don't know, because me and Elaine are
No.
not super emotional
No.
people.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Did you cry, Nico?
I was the one scheming up the stories, so I
Nico
don't know.
didn't even cry at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2. So
That's true.
He did. It was just because he couldn't ride horses anymore.
I think when it plays out, it's gonna have much more impact than how I have it on paper for now.
that's fair. Mhm.
It is not very easy to make me cry. But we'll see. I guess we'll see.
It's true. We don't have a bunch of people who
We're
Cry
not a
easily.
very emotional bunch, I don't think. Which
Yeah.
is it's fine.
It will be very tragic, though, as John requested.
And we love it. I love tragedy, just not when it happens to me.
Fair.
Elaine, do you have any goals for Kitty?
I just wanted to, the reason I used Kitty and I didn't make a new character is because I wanted to be able, because I knew most of the people coming in. John was the only person I hadn't met before. But at the time when I was deciding who to play, John wasn't in our group yet. There was somebody else who ended up dropping out before we started recording. But I knew everybody. I trusted everybody and how they played. So because normally I play with people who are a bit newer to role playing, so I usually have to play the responsible person, the person who keeps everybody on track. But this time I was like, nah, I get to go chaos wild. I just get to have fun with Kitty.
Here for a good time, not a long time, you could say.
Yeah. Like, I'm fully prepared for Kitty to die, just because of her being a little too
Hungry?
unhinged.
The way that she is. Yeah, I think we all got a glimpse of that when you open fired on a guard from inside a cell. Like,
What?
I was
No.
genuinely like, Kitty is straight up going to die.
Dude, same. That scared me a little. I was like, I'm not prepared for Kitty to die right here.
Kitty, as a character, really wants to get home as soon as possible, but Elaine, as a player, is expecting Kitty to die before she makes it back.
Oh.
That'll be interesting. My goal with Gem, and I've told Nico this multiple times, and I do bring it up often, is my, obviously, like, the first goal is, like, figure out, you know, her backstory and get through all the various messes she's gotten into herself into, right? But then the secondary goal is get herself a rebound. And the tertiary goal is to date every criminal we meet.
One of every kind.
One of every kind. And I'm doing pretty good so far. I have 3.
Speaking of, that segues very well. Into the next question. What's Gem's body count? In parentheses, bed or behead. And that comes to us from Tickle Monster 9000.
Oh my god. We've never actually come up with like a... Okay, no wait. I want everyone to give their estimates first.
How old is she?
She's 170-ish. I can't open my notes at the moment, but...
Okay, 170-ish. Okay.
Like, yeah, I think 172 maybe. Like, in that range. But she was, you know, only recently exposed to the world, like the blight that she is, so...
Didn't we also recently roll for a number of, like, how many heads
How many
of
heirs?
houses?
Yeah. Did I write that down, though?
I think given just time, Gem's bed body count is probably in the 50s.
Thank you.
Maybe not bed. Actually, I don't know if she'd get that far. I just think she has commitment issues, so maybe in the 30s.
Yeah, I was gonna say the commitment issues is really what's stopping her.
She does have a lot of commitment issues.
I was gonna say 30s to 40s.
Okay. Elaine, best guess?
I feel like Jem talks the big talk, but doesn't fully go through with it. Like, maybe you've dated, like, a couple hundred people, but maybe you haven't gone all the way with all of them, like, maybe, like, in the 20s.
Okay. Yeah, so like ranging from 20 to 40. Nico and I haven't come up with an exact number, but I also agree she has severe commitment issues. But she also has a severe rebellion issue. Because this is basically like her wild and out era, you know, she's like a party girl. So I would probably put it in, like the 50s, honestly. Just because, like, I don't think there's a lot of commitment there. I think she's a, you know, wham bam thank you ma'am kind of person.
Yeah, that's fair.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like long-term dating, only like less than 5 for sure. I would say only 2. I have names for both of them. But whamming and bamming and thank you mamming, yeah, 50 plus. And for beheading, quite a few. Beheading, I think, is an unfair question.
I mean, beheading in a non-literal sense, probably very many.
Yes.
Beheading in a literal sense, probably she's
Elven
got the
noodle
noodly elf arms. I don't think it's
0.
happening. This one comes from Ninja Potato Chip, and they would like to ask, has Kitty met anyone in the show that she really wants to eat?
So I think that. Should I respond first, or should I let you guys think about it?
Oh yeah.
I don't
we
think
could
I'd have an answer.
I think out of respect, Izzy.
Out of respect?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see, Kitty being like, well, I want, your body to be useful when you die. And, Izzy also being like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I could quickly see that happening.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Out of respect.
Maybe train Waluigi.
The way that I think about it, right, is that Kitty doesn't eat people because, like, oh, they look yummy. It's like a...
She's not Hannibal Lecter out here. She's just looking for food.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like a let's not waste the meat that's there. Because meat is scarce. So you kind of just take what you get.
Mhm.
Makes sense. More like Rump 2024 asks, have the players missed anything cool without spoilers? If so, what?
Ooh, have the players missed anything cool?
So are there any doors that we've closed that we cannot open?
Yeah. I think the big one that comes to mind is the two people you turned over during the party and you didn't talk to them at all. That was the only significant thing that I had planned that I was just 100% glossed over. I was like, okay, we're moving on.
Yeah, I was... he told me about that, shortly after it happened. He's like, I was expecting you guys to interrogate them yourselves. I'm like, we're literally in, my boss's house. Why would we be doing the work? We're such, a blasé, apathetic group. It is really funny to me that all of us are like, do we
They just
care?
weren't
Not
hot
really.
enough is the simple answer.
Well, all of us were just like, we're not getting paid to do this, so we're not going to do it.
Can you tell us what you missed out on, or would that be spoilers?
You would just get more information about that whole situation. Not spoiling. You would have known more about why the situation played out as is.
Mm. But not what group they were a part of, things like that.
You would have learned a little bit about them, yeah. Besides that, I think you all only missed small things. Besides that, I'm looking at my notes here.
I do remember you telling us about the fleshy monsters, that we missed something with them, because we there was one that was resistant, right, magic resistant, and I remember you telling me we missed something with that, because it was oh, you should have kept it, but then you just let them die.
I forgot what I had planned for that.
Next question comes from Meme Lord Supreme. You gotta change that username, man. Does Patches breathe? No. Next question. This one comes from Shrimp Ninja 69.
Nice.
Did we already have one from Shrimp Ninja 69?
No, we had Potato
think
Chip
so.
Ninja, didn't we?
Oh, that's right. We got a lot
Different
of ninjas.
ninjas.
It appears. Is Gem a secret princess or something?
So, I've mentioned this, I think, offhandedly a handful of times. She's a rich kid, but she's not a princess she's from, a noble circle. Not that noble. But, at this point, it's either been dropped or it's, been offhandedly mentioned. So, yeah, it's not anything, no governments are collapsing because she's faffing about in Sharn.
Okay. Oh, here's a good one. This one is from Clickwitch. And Clickwitch asks, what is your favorite moment for each character so far?
Oh.
Should we answer for not our character?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For For Kitty, I think the obvious answer is her existential crisis. For Jem has had a lot of good moments. They're all heat.
Thank you.
I mean, so are they with Kitty. It's just that one stands out so much, you know?
Mhm.
I think Jem getting drunk off her ass during the party was really funny. We were supposed to be working and you were just drinking the whole time.
No,
And
she wasn't
stress eating.
drinking. It was stress eating. She got an upset stomach. She wasn't drunk.
Oh, that's right. She stress ate so hard that she hurt her tum-tum.
Yeah.
She couldn't
Had
focus.
to leave.
Oh, my other favorite Kitty moment, I just remembered this, is when there was that one, like, seer guy in the cogs,
Yeah.
and Kitty just walked up and stole his orb and was gonna toss it in the lava.
Yeah, I was
that's a
gonna say
really
that
good
was
moment.
one of my favorite moments where Kitty's like, okay, well, you're not doing what I want. I pull out my gun.
It's just such, like, a little
We need
kid
to
move.
confiscate that. That needs to go.
No explanation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I think definitely Kitty's temper tantrums in general send me over the edge. So, like, I feel like every single time I'm like, what are you doing? Which is like just sums up the dynamic between her and Jem so well, because like when we designed our dynamic, it was like, yeah, the cool babysitter and like the middle schooler that she has to watch after school every day. And so anytime Kitty just goes off the wall, like bonkers, just drives me into hysterics. I love it so much. And as for Patches,
I have a favorite Patches moment. The whole Menace
yeah, the whole Menace thing was like, I think I was just, the whole time I was in awe was the thing, because like, since I'm not a fan of combat, I was just like so compelled the whole time, which is very rare for me when it comes to any sort of, combat scene. It's just like not usually my thing. And so I remember just being like in awe and like completely envious of your skill of like creating the scene and keeping it compelling, especially after my little like patty cake slap fight in the ring. So like the whole Menace arc was so good to me.
The Memphis Menace will go down in history as one of my best character moments for sure.
Yeah. But honestly, like, same thing. I think Patches has like every episode like has a good moment. So like it's very that, and when he raps, I think those two are my favorite.
I should make Patches learn another rap.
No, he only knows one. I would say my favorite Patches moment was when he started talking to Jem, like real talks, because that was the first time it happened in our campaign that we weren't just being a silly, goofy group.
Hmm.
And then it started actually tying
Yeah,
us.
that was a good
together.
moment too.
Yeah.
I did love that moment.
Yeah. That one I have a soft spot for that one as well.
I think part of why I love that is in the Miki Patches relationship, I think Miki kind of thinks of herself as the one who's in charge and like knows what's going on, but I think Patches kind of also thinks that of himself, he's kind of a caretaker by nature, and so to him it was like the two adults talking about what's really happening behind the scenes, And
All the
so
children
having that
play chess
like
in the background eating the pieces.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Having that real connection, I thought was really good. And also, something else I did love about that scene was how, Kitty and Miki were able to create an evocative scene in the background as, like, just with a few lines. I always love that in, like, an actual play, when you just throw in a few lines about what's happening elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good.
Me for Jem, it has to be just the train. Just our entrance.
The entrance.
Oh yeah, that was a good
classic.
entrance.
God, that was so funny.
Just taking down every bit of decor with me.
Mhm. Such a good intro to the character.
Mhm.
One of my favorite parts of the train arc is when you guys are, I mean, it's a great intro to the characters, but when you guys are talking to the twins, and it takes you like a full episode to realize they don't actually work here. Like, they just give you some kitchen wine to drink, they let you burn your dress, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we don't work here. And you're like, oh, that does make sense.
We just thought they were really cool.
Yeah, that was good.
Nico, what about you? What are your favorite moments?
I was interspersing them between, but the only one who I've missed is Gem, and I think favorite Gem moment. It's kind of hard for me. She's got so many good ones.
Thank you.
It always gets me whenever Gem is like walking around the places she knows and is paranoidly looking around for like anything that moves and looking at it suspiciously. Always makes me chuckle as a DM.
I wanna give out some NPC moments I love. Since we're doing it with player characters, I adored when a Drazen got a taxidermied eagle, and he was like, "Don't make fun of me." And then my other favorite was when Izzy was at the pit fight, because they're all like, "Yeah, that tracks." Makes perfect sense.
I would agree. Like, Izzy being at the pit fight and all the realization for all of us all at once of like, are you for real? Like, of course she's here.
The only human there besides you guys. Or the only non-monstrous person there besides you guys.
Yeah. And the professor from Memphis University. Just showing us around, being like, yeah, sure, I can get you guys free entry.
I loved that guy.
That guy was so cool.
You breathed such life into that man within a few seconds.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
I was really impressed by that, honestly.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm gonna transfer this into a different question, and then we'll go back. But who's your favorite NPC so far? And is there someone we met before that you would want to meet again? Now, personally, my favorite NPC is a Drazen. And it's just because he's one of my favorite archetypes, which is someone so incredibly down on their luck, who's constantly getting razzed. Like, I want nothing but for a Drazen to succeed, but I'm gonna make fun of him relentlessly. I love him so much.
Yeah.
He reminds me of, and this is a big compliment, Galir Faeth from Dimension 20 Fantasy High, who's similar in his patheticness, and he has like a crazy arc, and oh my gosh, the parallels aren't all there, but just having a character that's sort of a punching bag but is really lovable, I just think is so endearing.
I'm trying to, I'll have to think about this one for a second, sorry. Because, like, my favorite, I mean, I love Izzy, but is she my favorite?
Yeah. Favorite, I'm not sure. The one I want to see again is because I'm just so curious about what's up with her is the Bold Her Mask girl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, John, what's one you want to see again?
Oh, I want to see Flint again. I just like him. Or the Raskin Bobbins employee.
Oh, you'll see the Raskin Bobbins employee again.
We go there all the time.
That's going to be the BBEG.
If they're not, I'm gonna be
Customer service
disappointed,
turned him.
Not gonna lie. I think honestly, like one of my favorite NPCs is actually Smoke from the Tyrants. I'm just so compelled as to why some rando is in a group of changelings besides Gem. Like, Gem is a wackadoo, we know that, but like, why is Smoke there?
You're like, he seems too sane.
Yeah, he just like, that's the thing. He like
doesn't check
fit.
out.
Yeah, he doesn't fit at all. And so, plus it's like, that's my, I don't know what's after tertiary, but my fourth my fourth goal is to become Smoke's best friend. And someone but Lee. I forgot about Lee. Lee is also really cool. So someone I want to see again, I want to see Lee, because she was awesome.
Oh, not to toot my own horn, but I think my favorite NPC has to be Carly.
We haven't even talked to her yet.
Well, you
I
haven't.
sent her a message.
No, you sent Doc a message.
But I mean, like, pick up a feral child who doesn't even know how to speak, raise them into a half-functional human being.
Emphasis on the human part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And just as a person, knowing how Carly is from outside of recorded sessions, Carly's great.
Our next question is, would your character have killed Ladrill, who is the elf lady that was in the arena that Patches helped escape, for money? And we know Patches' choice.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
It's tough. I think it would have depended on, like, what direction we wanted to go with. Like, because if we wanted to help Ladrill, like, obviously help her. But if we wanted to, like, sidle up to these bad guys to kind of uncover, you know, like, more like subterfuge sort of approach, like, uncover what they were doing and then dismantle it, then, yeah, she would have.
What would Jem's go-to be? Because, like, you wouldn't have necessarily time to talk this over with the other group.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't have counsel, what would her choice be?
If we didn't have counsel, I'm not sure. And I wasn't sure at the time. Because Jem's so, like, understanding of the business that she's like, it's not really my place to tell you not to kill people, because that's literally what I do for a living. So
It's not personal, it kills her.
Yeah, like, I think that's
Nothing
what it would have
personnel,
ended
kiddo.
up being. It's like, it's not personal, but, like, sorry.
Also, to clarify, I don't think Kitty would have killed for money specifically, but Kitty would have
For the
still
thrill.
killed the drill. No, because the group wants the money.
Mm-hmm. Ends to a means.
Yeah, like, Kitty herself doesn't really care about money, but right now Kitty knows the group wants money, so Kitty would have done it.
I'm on T-Rex asks, what is your favorite running joke in the campaign?
Does anyone have an answer?
It's gotta be the fucking Wet Eagles.
Wet Eagle is so good.
Because it transcends not just the campaign, but all the one-shots too.
Yeah, it really
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
And that's how good it is. Thank you, fantasy name generators,
Shout out Fantasy Name Generator.
for your wonderful names that bring all of our campaigns such joy.
I'm a big fan of Patch's anatomy facts.
Yeah, that one's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
that's a good one too.
My gosh, all of a sudden I forgot, like, literally every single running joke we have. I think the bingo card, honestly.
Bingo cards, yeah.
The
The bingo
cards
card
are
is
really
hysterical.
I need to make a new one for our new era.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Mm.
Yeah.
This one comes from Blorpus, and they ask, Legolas, why N? Which I assume is yes, no, not Legolas, your name.
I know, I was like, Legolas, your name?
I mean, like, if it was Legolas and me, I'm not complaining.
Are we writing self-insert fanfic with us and Legolas? Or, like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yes, no to what?
Just in general?
Does
Are
it
you
matter?
for or
Yes.
against?
Obviously. Yes, Legolas.
Pro Legolas, anti Legolas?
What kind of elf is Legolas?
Does it matter?
Wood elf.
For Gem, it matters. That's a no.
His full name is Legolas Greenleaf, and Legolas in Elvish translates to Greenleaf. His name is Greenleaf Greenleaf.
Oh my god, he could have been a part of our one shot.
With everyone having alliterative last names?
Yeah. He would have
Not just
easily fit right next to
alliterative.
Jack Jackson.
Or Dan.
Next question comes from Liminal Space 1001, and they ask, "Is a Drazen kind of hot, or is that just me?"
It's
That's
just you.
The synchronous.
You just
it's
like
just
pathetic
you.
men.
That's hysterical.
Literally in my notes for session 4, when we met a Drazen, I wrote copper skin elf in parentheses not hot.
That was before we were rolling separate d10s, and I remember Nika rolling and be like, "Ooh, no."
Yeah, my next bullet point after
Yeah.
that is throws salt at us.
Yeah, canonically, the gods have decreed that a Drazen is not hot. It's just
It's
you.
just another way he's a pathetic meow meow.
Nico, this one's for you, and it comes from Alex Stalix. And Alex asks, "What is the biggest time the players threw off your plans?"
Ooh, biggest time. I think it has to be the whole riot situation. I was not expecting that.
I'm actually really proud of that.
Yeah, I was expecting them to try to either like talk or sneak their way out of it, which I was like, okay, yeah, I could see that. But the riot and just throwing everything into utter chaos came out of left field, and I was like, yeah, it works. Definitely not what I expected, but it works.
I have to say, I do love Jem being Patches' hype man in the whole fight.
That whole arc, I think, was such a good character for everybody.
Yeah, it was.
It's
it
really
was.
good.
This one comes from me. Could one of every Pokemon beat 1 million lions in a fight?
Yeah.
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 No,
We
I
have
think the
literal
lions win.
gods in Pokemon.
I mean, but like, there's like, yeah.
You have like
That's a
Hyper
lot of lions,
Beam
though.
and
But that's a lot
I
of
feel
Pokemon.
like-
lions. That's
Yeah.
only like 800 Pokemon versus 1 million
like-
lions.
Yeah, but you
One
have gods in
Gyarados.
there.
One Gyarados could easily take out like 100 lions.
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, but then the 101st lion gets it.
But I feel like there are multiple Pokemon like that could easily take out like a large swath of lions.
Well, if the lions coordinate and use Roman tactics,
Okay, are they hive mind lions or are they regular lions?
they're regular lions.
Regular
Just
lions
like
are
any normal
lazy.
lion, they know Roman tactics.
They're
Are
not
they
gonna have
male
Roman
lions or
tactics.
female lions? Because if they're male lions, no, the Pokemon win every time.
It just says lions, So maybe both, maybe neither.
50-50, yeah.
Why do we have to impose a gender binary on the lions?
Well, it's because male lions
Just
are
because of sexual
canonically...
dimorphism?
Because male lions...
Canonically.
like male lions are really lazy and they don't do much. The female lions are the ones who do all the hunting and everything, right?
What if they're motivated?
Just like real life.
What if they're motivated to fight the Pokemon?
I mean, like, you could say the same thing about the Pokemon. It's just like Pokemon have AoE attacks and they can take out a bunch of lions at once, and the lions will need multiple lions to take down one.
Yeah, and also-
Pokemon are actually
But
really,
that's a lot of
really
lions.
big.
Yeah, because I was gonna say the size factor too. 'cause,
Bigger
like,
target
one,
for the lions.
one Butterfree is like fucking 3 feet.
What
Why?
is this
I
question,
don't think that's
John?
right.
No, it
that
is.
not- I thought it was something ridiculous, like 3 feet
That
wide.
might be
like,
right. Other ones are like an
Butterfrees are
inch wide.
Fucking
So I'm,
huge.
Here's the thing: it's 1 million lions. 1 million.
I feel like John really wants a specific
million
answer and
lions.
nobody else is agreeing with
Well,
him.
the answer is
Yeah.
the lions.
I think we're saying that, John, you're wrong, objectively. You've been outvoted. The council has spoken.
in
Next
the
question.
comments.
Next question. We're leaving
Next
the lion
question. This one comes from Not My Pizza. And Not My Pizza asks, it's been a while since you did a was it Music Monday or Music Wednesday?
Music Monday.
Why would it be Music Wednesday?
I don't know.
No, it was Woozic Wednesday.
Yeah, Music Wednesday. That's right. It's been a while since you did a Music Monday. What songs are you listening to?
I'll go first. I've been listening to a lot of Yeehaw songs because I
It's
finished playing
true.
Red Dead 2, and I have a problem. It's a persistent Yeehaw problem. And so I've been listening to a lot of folk or country or things with banjos in them,
I introduced Nico to Southern Gothic, and I think it's changing him as a person.
Not as much as Red Dead did, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Red Dead is already Southern Gothic. Lately, I have been listening to Little Girl Gone by Chinchilla quite a bit, because things have been making me angry. So, yeah, need to get it out.
I have been listening to a lot of swing music recently because I took up swing dancing. And my current favorite band, because they are like an STL, like a St. Louis band, is Sweetie and the Toothaches. And my favorite song from them right now is Mama Don't Allow. It has like a bunch of solos from really good artists, like a piano player, a drum player, all kinds of stuff like that. So Sweetie and the Toothaches, they're amazing. I just saw them live last night. It was awesome.
I don't really music.
Make one up. Say it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Sure, the ABCs. There you go.
That one's a banger, dude. My nieces love that one.
Well done.
But they don't remember all the letters. Or they get bored halfway through.
The only time I kind of really listen to music is when Raina sends me a playlist.
You're welcome.
Raina keeps my music up to date-ish.
Next up, we got a question from Lasagna44.
Lasagna knows how to use a computer? Amazing.
It's a sentient lasagna. They ask, what is something you would have liked to participate in as a player but didn't make sense for your character? For example, the arena fight.
Yeah, I think that was the one for me. I would have loved to fisticuffs, but Kitty is a weak little... not human.
I don't think I have a particular one, because Jem is awful and will push herself into any situation she can. So there's not very many where it's like, it didn't... She's so opportunistic that I don't think there's like many instances where she hasn't participated in something. If that makes sense.
Yeah. For patches? Oh, jeez. I don't think that there's anything that he explicitly hasn't participated in. Honestly, I think he's participated in too many things by himself, which is something I'm going to try to do far less of in the future. But something that does stick out to me is the first time he was there for a fight, I wasted like a whole turn signing papers.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, I made this character to be good at fighting. And he's like, hold on, guys, I'm really good. I have a signature that makes this really quick.
I forgot that happened.
Anime Guy 23X writes,
I'm not taking
do you have a favorite set of dice? What'd you say, Raina? We're not answering this one?
Yeah, I said we're not taking a question from him.
Get out of here, Anime Guy.
I do think we also had an Instagram post of our favorite sets.
Oh, I think we did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Find it on our Instagram. Not My Pizza, again,
Welcome back.
asks, are there any episode names that weren't used that you really liked?
Oh,
got one.
So many.
Easily the favorite episode names that weren't used, well, that was a super missed opportunity, was Patches is Hard and Patches is Wet. As two subsequent titles.
Hold on, let me go look at the list again.
We have a lot of good ones we didn't use.
Hot roach sex.
Behold Wet William was really, really strong. I also like Behold Everyone Tweet at ... because we said that a lot in one of the one-shots.
Yeah.
There's so many good.
Behold Clown Detritus is always... I love that
Classic.
one.
Yeah.
Behold Articulating Bear Toes. I'm really glad we didn't go with that one. I'm 90% sure we didn't go with that one.
Yes, we did not.
Here's one that I'm interested in. This one is by Liminal Space, returning once again. What was your first experience with D&D like? My first experience was actually with my dad. We played an old, it wasn't specifically D&D, it was called Roll Masters, and it's an old RPG that uses D100s instead of D20s, and it's built on checking tables, so everything has a table, and you have to, check your roll and also your whatever the heck. And I was not clever when I was younger, so my character was just Legolas. They were named Legolas, and they were Legolas. And then I asked him if I could run another character, so I made Gimli. And then I asked him if I could run another character, so I made Sam. And then the campaign that he put my sister and I through was just the plot of the Dark Crystal. We were just sort of ancillary characters to the Dark Crystal. And I loved it.
My first D&D game was I had a friend who really loved D&D and was a very passionate DM, and me and a couple of other I can speak today. Me and my friends. We were all going to the same convention, and in our downtime decided to play a D&D game. We were very tired, but it was fun.
Was that specifically D&D, or was it a different system?
It was D&D. It was 5e D&D. Mm-hmm. And the highlight from that from that game, I remember very distinctly. We went into some mines, we fought some stuff, and then we came out with this weird object that created a permanent fog around it, and I was like, I want to throw rocks at it, and I broke it, and it would disable the magical effect.
Oh my god.
So good job, me.
I had been watching Critical Role because I was watching board games on Geek and Sundry, and Critical Role was there at that time, and they had a Roll for Shoes one-shot on that channel, and I was like, oh, this would be fun to play with people. And I played it at one of the parties Nico and Sibling was hosting. I did a zombie thing, and I had 3 different endings set depending on what they did, and they did something completely different, so I had to make up a new ending.
Of course.
Standard.
Yep.
Yeah, one of my first RPG experiences was a Roll for Shoes game that Nico's sibling ran, if I recall correctly. And
what is Roll for Shoes? This is something I do not know.
You don't know Roll for Shoes?
Roll for Shoes is the barest bone system. All you need are D6s. Yeah.
Its title came because the people who created the session, the very first game they ever played, the first thing somebody rolled for was to see if they had shoes on. So the setting ended up being named Roll for Shoes. But it's 7 rolls. It's one of the easiest things to bring new people into RPGs into, just because it is 7 rules only. They only have to learn 7 things. Mm-hmm. You only roll D6s.
Yeah, you're not focused on the rules, and you can throw them into the role play easier.
Yeah. And it's super improvised, or it can be super improvised because of how simple it is.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, very, very easygoing. Very good for beginners. And it was a Dracula one-shot, basically. A Dracula-based one-shot. And I remember the highlight of that particular one, and highlighting my running streak of supporting women's wrongs. There was essentially a body bag that was delivered to just placed on the carriage that the characters had, And everyone was like, oh my god, like, do we think there's really a body in there? And so my character's like, all right, I'm gonna just look. And reached in. Just everyone's reactions. It was like, since everyone reacted so viscerally to that, and I just like was feeling the face of this corpse, that was when I was like, yeah, you know, I do love being the dark horse character, I think. Just throwing everyone for a loop if I can.
Hell yeah. Let's go for another one. This one comes from Captain Squirrelface. And they ask, which die is your favorite? D20, D6, D8, etc.
I do love the D20, I have to say. But I love the round
D20 is satisfying.
D100s.
My favorite, technically speaking, in a standard set, it's probably a D12, and I don't have a reason for that. It's just a satisfying shape. But my favorite is my D16, because it was given to me by one of my best friends. And it's just weird. It built weird.
Oh, yeah, I remember your weird dice.
I also have like a really warped-ass D6, and I love that one too. But D12 is where it's at for me.
I think I like the shape of a D8.
Yeah, that's super fair.
Pointy, but not too pointy, but not too boring, to where it's just, you know, no offense
not
to
like
the
a
D6, but it's just a cube.
Not like a ninja caltrop like the D4.
Yeah,
I was gonna
that's
go D4.
too pointy.
It gets its revenge when it needs to.
That's true. I have a metal D4, and I always make sure to have an eye on that thing.
Yeah.
Next question. This one comes from Tickle Monster 9000 again.
Nice.
We have, if you could redo one moment in the campaign so far, what would it be? I'd want to find out what was going on with Beholder Mask Lady.
Yeah.
And
That's a good
that's
one.
only because I have the hindsight of how much time Nico put into that, and really, I should have realized that at the moment, in the moment.
No, it's fine.
I'm like, that was probably something really interesting, but we were like, we're just trying to get paid and leave.
I think I would have, wanted to question those people. I thought about it in the moment, but I was like, no, Kitty just wants to get out of there with the tablet she stole as soon
Yeah.
as possible, so that's why I did that. But like, as a player, I really wanted to have somebody question them.
By popular demand, I might have her return sooner rather than later. But
Yes!
I think for how that whole party scene turned out, it was I really enjoyed the way it turned out, because I had put a lot of possibilities in there, and you guys had picked up on like a good number of them. So it was a good amount, in my opinion.
That's always good. I definitely know the experience of like setting up something for your players and then
Yeah.
they don't notice any of it.
I was very pleasantly surprised by when Patches and Miki were upstairs eavesdropping. So I had a little table of the gossip that you could hear, and it was I rolled a d6 when you were listening to the gossip, and some of it was a lie, some of it was irrelevant gossip that is true, but to just like hoity-toity nobles, and then there was like literally a 1 in 6 chance that you could hear the gossip about the Silkrana family, and like you heard it, which I was like, wow, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, literally that gif of Critical just being like, yeah. I think if I had to redo something, it would honest to God be the fights. The fights during the Memphis Menace arc, because it was just like I have a really bad habit of comparing myself to other people, and so like having gone first and then being like so pathetic and like a pathetic little meow meow and then coming back Patches being directly after me and being just like totally epic and like all this stuff. It was very like embarrassing for me as a player. So
it's hard to make combat like interesting in an only audio format for anyone that isn't part of the combat, so I would not be embarrassed by that. It is tough. It took me a long time to figure it out. Being a DM online is what made me good at it, because you have to engage people,
Yeah, which is fair. I have 2 really bad habits, or 3, I guess. I always compare myself to people. I have a lot of pride, and I'm easily embarrassed. So it's like, it was just a really bad combination of things, but I'm always like, whenever I had to hear that episode or like think about it, I'm just like, oh god, it's like so cringe.
Yeah, if I were to redo that, I would not throw 2 fireballs at John. That was a bit much. Admittedly.
Yeah, but now
That's all right.
we have something to harangue you over for the rest of the campaign.
I think that having Patches come back and be like welcomed was a more interesting angle anyway.
I really did love that.
Yes, I felt so special.
You were like the crowd's favorite, so I was like, they gotta. They're just gonna go feral when they see the Memphis Menace.
It's Patches' world. We just live in it, okay?
I've got 3 questions left. And the first one is from my name, Jeffrey Dahmer. And that's a bad name. If your character could be someone else for a day, who would they choose?
Yeah, like within the party or like just in general?
Just anyone. It just says just someone else. Anyone who they are aware of. Like I can't just say Patches would be Barack Obama. He doesn't know who that is.
Honestly,
he's probably not in Eberron.
I do think just out of spite, Jem would want to be Lee for a day. She could get up to so much trouble in 24 hours.
Oh man, who would Patches want to be? That's really tough. I don't know that I have a good answer for that. Maybe he would want to be... You know what I think he might want to be? I think he might want to be... I have 2 answers. One is Bernie, his compatriot, just to see like how he's doing and how the kid that he's protecting is doing. And the other might be Miki, just to see what it's like to have those visions and stuff, so he knows how to handle them better when she has them. Both of them are basically attempts at empathy.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Kitty would go Patches. One, just because, this is what it's like to be strong. And another would be...
Also, he's pink.
Yeah. And then another would be like, how do I work? Let me figure out the internals, being the actual Warforged.
I think a Drazen would also want to be Patches, because I feel like...
Patches has the confidence that a Drazen sorely lacks.
Yeah. That, and also, like, I feel like out of everyone, a Drazen respects Patches the most, not fears, respects.
There is a difference,
that.
and it's very important in this group.
Yeah.
Our penultimate question is from Big Steve. Big Steve asks, has there been a moment where you wanted to give your input into a situation, but knew it would be too meta to have your character think that way?
I mean, we just had a moment in our most recent episode where I literally accidentally metaed, and then you guys were like, it's fine, like, you could use it, like, we'll just assume, and I was like, no, I can't! But other than that, I think, like, I can find the reasoning in most things, so, you know, I never think it's, like, super meta to reason in one way or another. So I don't think there's ever been like a moment where I'm like, oh, but that's too meta, I can't do that.
I think the closest I've come is I've read like the Eberron core book, so I do know some stuff about like dragon marked houses and stuff, but not all of that lore is being used in our version of Eberron, and so I've definitely referenced it and then had Nico be like, yeah, for sure.
Because there are some things in the Eberron lore where I am just using it from the book, but there are other things that I, have read once and forgotten about because I haven't used it and I don't plan on it. So
Yes, it's like knowledge of dragon marked houses. I've made choices that I probably would not have made had Patches known more about the dragon marked houses.
I can't, off the top of my head, remember a situation where I was like, man, I really wish Kitty were a part of that. Like, even when Patches and Jem went off to go find the people in the mine, like, Kitty made a big stink about being left behind, but Elaine was like, it makes sense, like, Kitty wouldn't be able to do much anyways.
And Kitty's not trusted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of us are kind of like, are you surprised, genuinely, that you're not allowed out of jail?
Yeah. So, like, even if Kitty would have made a big stink as a player, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. And I don't want to, like, weasel my way into things, right? Well, I kind of do, selfishly, but, like...
I mean, yeah, that's part of the game,
Yeah.
is being involved.
Being
So I get
nosy.
it.
Yeah.
Do you think, therefore, you are?
This question might get edited out because it's not a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't really have a good one there.
We're not really, like, meta gamers anyway. Like, I
No.
think we're all very, like, keenly aware of this is what we know, this is what we don't know. And,
Yeah,
even
you
if
guys
we
have been
do
pretty good about.
Yeah, even if we do slip up, we go,
not
oh wait, no,
metagaming.
they wouldn't know that. So, like,
Because there was a lot of points in the game in which certain character things were revealed to some people, but not others, and you guys have been pretty good about that.
Yeah.
And I'm
I think the most
thankful.
metagamey thing... I think the most metagamey thing I did was when I was like, hoo-hoo, mention Ladrill, hoo-hoo. But, like, I'm sure even if I didn't, somebody would have brought Ladrill up
Yeah.
anyways.
I think the most, like, metagaming that we've done, it hasn't been for, like, story reasons, it's just been for bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I respect that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that I will
forgivable.
allow.
Our last question comes from Sir Pantsalot. It's not really a question. It just says, please compliment Nico as the DM for me.
I'll go first. I'm great. Period.
Correct.
Full stop.
I think you are so good at creating situations that are just filled with toys for us to play with.
That
I
is
think-
what I try to do all the time.
Yes, yes. There is some what's the word? Sometimes there's like a certain way that you want us to go and like solution you want us to find. But I think you as a DM really shine when you just give us some stuff to play with and see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my favorite moments. Like the party, I think, was some of your best work.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, despite how I present, I'm a very, like, subdued sort of person. Like, I don't get excited very much. I don't, like, look forward to a lot of things. I've never been more, like, in a chokehold than I have been during this campaign, because I'm always like, that's why I'm always like pushing, like, can we record again? Like, can we like find a way to squeeze it in, especially because Elaine's going on vacation. But like, I always look forward to our sessions, and I have so much fun, and like the story's compelling, and I think it's, developing in a very natural way. And I just honestly, from writer to writer, I'm amazed by your brain and how you're coming up with everything. So, like, huge props to you, because it's a massive undertaking.
Thank you.
Not only are you, like, planning things out ahead of time for us, because I know you got your, like, stupid 600-page document, but I feel like you roll
It's very
with...
well organized.
You roll with all of the random things that we throw at you every session
Mm-hmm.
super well.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the chaos, and it's always a lot of fun with everyone. And what is D&D if not your players constantly throwing you off your game with things that you weren't expecting? But yeah, that's all we have for this episode special. Let us know what you think. Do you want more like this? Should we do this again? Should we do something else?
I feel like we struggled enough with 25 episodes.
I mean, in probably the future, there will be more things to talk about, and also more things that I, as the DM, can reveal, since it's like over with, potentially. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you all in another 25.
Hey, you made it through the episode 25 special. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed the podcast, check us out on Instagram at Beholding Out for a Hero, all one word, or interact on your podcast platform of choice to help us get a little bump in the algorithm to reach some more ears. Or even tell your friends about us, your own D&D party, people who are interested in, amusing hijinks. We also want to thank Wizards of the Coast for creating the framework of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and Keith Baker for creating Eberron, as that's where our main campaign takes place. Beholding Out for a Hero releases bi-weekly, and you can find us pretty much wherever podcasts are found. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks for episode 26, where we'll get back on the main track, which is still the sidetrack